Hi guys, this video is going to be for my sun, moon, rising Scorpios for the month of September, your astrology predictions, what you can expect to potentially be feeling or actually manifest. We're going to go over internal and external possibilities. So what you guys are looking at right now is the energy you can expect to be feeling walking into the month of September. And then I'm going to update these transits as we get to them. Sorry about that shadow. Let me see if I can fix it with my window. No, I just made, actually, that's fine. Whatever. We can deal, right? Anyway, so let's get to it. The transits. September 1st, Uranus goes retrograde in Taurus in your 7th house. So what do I think this means? I like when Uranus goes retrograde. The reason for this, if you think about what Uranus is all about, a few things to say. There's a disruption. There's something unexpected that happens, and it's either going to be good or positive. I think this also is a very freedom-oriented energy. Think about an Aquarius that you know. They're standing out in some type of way, right? And that to me would be because they're getting messages, intuitive hits from spirit in order to be so it kind of, I don't want to say in their own world, but Aquariuses are ahead of the game, okay? In some type of way, whether you guys are seeing it or not, they're ahead of us with something. And usually everyone else then jumps on the bandwagon with whatever it was that Aquarius was already doing to begin with. So when this is happening in your 7th house, the house of relationships, commitments, business partnerships, and if it's not a business partnership, it could be like you and your friends splitting money to go somewhere or to do something, or at a restaurant, at a bar, and it's like now you've committed to this and you owe that person money. There is some type of exchange, I feel like, with something very serious. Another way of looking at this house is like the signed contracts. So with that being said, the biggest thing I look at here is relationships, your serious relationships with people, okay? But also your committed romantic relationship. So Uranus being here in general has been a trip for you guys, right? It's been a fucking journey. I say that as somebody who is mainly Scorpio in their 1st house. So I'm technically a rising Libra, but I always resonate with the rising Scorpio readings the most. So I could tell you personally, Uranus being in that 7th house has fucked shit up. But now it's going retrograde. So if something does happen that is disruptive, or the unexpected happens, could be a positive thing. It's like you're being asked from spirit, you're being tested from source, universe, whatever it is you guys believe in, to go within. Don't be so reactive. Don't handle things the way you normally would. So I think of Uranus going retrograde as like 4 of Swords in tarot. It's asking you to balance out your energy, okay? And it's hard when it's in Taurus for everybody, for the collective in general, because Taurus is a fixed, stubborn sign. So I think that if something happens when it comes to, for example, your finances that are mixed in with other people, whether it's you and your romantic partner or your best friends, where there's been an exchange with something, if something happens that isn't positive, instead of responding right away, like you're pretty much asked to be like, not why is this happening to me, but what is happening for me right now? It's basically asking you to be a little bit more spiritual, going within, and don't consider it such a tower moment. This is such a disruption. And also, is it really the unexpected? Because I think with Uranus energy too, it's the unexpected. But when it goes retrograde, I think things are coming back up that you kind of already had an idea about. I almost want to word it like that. Also, as you guys have been feeling, it's asking you about your freedom in relationships. So for those of you that are super duper clingy, You may be feeling that energy of that shit is not working for you with other people. And you need to learn how to have look at relationships differently from a different perspective in order to have a good time. So yeah, and of course, because Taurus traditionally rules that second house, which talks about your wallet, which talks about the things you own and the things you value. And you guys have your second house in Sagittarius, which is already another freedom-oriented energy. You guys are definitely not only asked to go within about your attitude, about relationships in general, but also how can you have freedom-oriented relationships? Is this something you guys value? I feel like a Scorpio energy, because it's a fixed sign, just like the other fixed signs, there's really little to no controlling you guys, right? It's just not happening. If anybody's controlling anybody, it's you guys. If anybody's running the show, it's you guys. So I'm going to say that since you guys have the second house in Sagittarius, it's like you guys want to make your money in a freedom-oriented way, something where there's more freedom. But also this is something you guys value in general, is your freedom. Because there's something being asked of you in this life karmically as a Scorpio to not be so attached, right? So I think that's what's coming through here for you guys, is like letting this energy go, or at least a little bit, a nudge, with letting go of attachment. Whether it's attachment to ideas of how a relationship should be, an attachment to, do you own this person? Because you guys definitely have something like that going on within your seventh house, because Taurus energy is, this is mine, I own this. And even if they don't own it, it's like in their head that they own it, you know, like, you're mine, you know? So it's like that hasn't been working out for you. But why? By law of attraction. Because what do you guys value in general? Even though you guys value deep oriented things and feel very deeply, there's also something very freedom oriented about you guys in general that you guys value, right? So yeah, and also, where do you guys have Aquarius? In your fourth house. So again, because Uranus rules Aquarius and you guys have Aquarius in your fourth house, for some of you, this is going to be talking about, like, either due to a relationship you end up moving, or due to a relationship and that could work both ways, right? Like getting in one and moving together, or getting out of one and having to leave, or somebody else leaves and it's like the fourth house is interrupted. There was a disruption. So I feel like for those of you, I think this can also affect you in regards to your power. Because Pluto rules you guys, right? And it's in your fourth house right now. At least right now with the transits that I'm currently going over. So September 1st, when Pluto's still in your fourth house in retrograde, there's kind of been like this energy of something changing in regards to how you feel about your power. Do you have power? Do you have control? And it's connected now to your seventh house. I'm sorry, it's connected to your seventh house and your living space. Something's changing at home, even when you're in private. And again, it connects back to either, I'm going to say, your money or your relationship with money, or just your relationships in general. Okay. All right. So let's move on. So later that day, Pluto then goes into Capricorn again. So Pluto is in retrograde. I'm sorry. And it's going back. It's going back into your third house of communication, learning, local community, cousins, siblings, uncles, aunts, things of that nature. So I know every astrologer out there is basically saying, you know, this is like finishing out the job pretty much, that something you've been trying to do since 2008. So I feel like that's such a tough thing to really reflect on, because so much has happened since 2008. I feel like probably, if you guys are anything like me, you've literally almost experienced every single thing we can talk about when it comes to living life, the ups and downs, the blows, the good times, all that stuff. So what then specifically is Pluto doing in your third house? Okay, what is it going back for? Because that's usually what these planets are symbolic for. It's some type of life plan that we signed up for, if you guys believe in reincarnation. And we're all the collective, and we're all on the same page with something very similar, but in a different way, while we're all together. So Pluto going retrograde back in your third house, what could be, like, what is the job it's trying to finish for you guys on a spiritual level, on a human level? Like, what are you guys trying to do here? Well, I would ask you to think about what have you accomplished since 2008 and what have you not accomplished since 2008. So I think about this and I'm like, I don't think I had like a huge main goal that really was the overall energy. And it's kind of hard for me to try to think about this one. So I think of two different things. What has changed significantly? Like if you had to choose a topic, what has changed for you since specifically 2008? So when I think of it like this, I'm like, well, my job, my career, I always wanted to come into power with some type of business. That's the first thing. So that's changed significantly for me. I'm not where I want to be, but I feel like I'm a lot fucking closer than I ever was. So there's that. I also think about communication. That's a huge one for me when I reflect back on Pluto going back into the third house. I know I used to be more reserved. I only used to show my my private side, I want to say. Like, so me personally, I'm a rising Libra with mainly Scorpio in the first house. So like I said before, this is pretty much like my chart in a sense, because I have Capricorn in the third and Pluto's going back there. So I'm like, what is Pluto gonna fuck up? But really, you guys are naturally conservative with your words, and it does depend on your personal planets. So if that doesn't resonate for you, I'm a little surprised, to be honest, because I feel like Scorpios in general, that's why you guys get that bad rap, like, oh, you guys have secrets, whatever, because it's like literally the way you guys were raised with your communication style is to be a little more discerning and reserve your voice in a sense, and say appropriate things when you should and where you should. So for me, I always did that, but I always felt like do you ever think about energy and how it would look if you could see it? So when I think about Capricorn being in my third house, I think of somebody doing this to my fucking neck, like, so I don't speak, like, don't say the things I naturally want to say. And you know, I think obviously that's a reason. There's a reason for it. Like either my higher consciousness is kicking in, like it's not appropriate, or this isn't your target audience. You know, I think, yeah, for sure. But I think also it connects back to past lives. And this is what Pluto and Saturn can be talking about here, is karmically, like, what are you here to do on a karmic level as well? So I do think of Pluto being connected to part of your karma from past lives. I mean, honestly, it's all interconnected at the end of the day. But I think back to the past lives I've channeled for myself, and also past lives I've had channeled through other psychics. And there's always something about my throat chakra, not speaking properly or the way I want to, or overthinking what it is I said. And I don't really do that too much anymore. Like I still do because it's in my chart. But at the end of the day, because Pluto transformed how I speak, I now feel more free, which is crazy because Capricorn doesn't really free you. It's not that it's holding you back, but it's making things harder. So Pluto was here to transform and change something with your guys' throat, like the way you speak. What are you speaking about? So I think for people who are highly, highly inappropriate, it's like they are probably a little more reserved, or a little bit, if they were like fresh, like fast to talk, like I think of a Mercury and fire sign, they're probably not as feisty as they once were. Or for me, it's again, like now I am showing I feel like who I really am, and I don't care if you like it or not. And that's true Aries energy, which is why most people don't like Aries. But everybody is their own zodiac sign for a fucking reason. It's to do something you want to do in this life. So I feel like for those of you who have Capricorn in your 3rd house and Pluto's going back, what have you guys noticed about yourselves when it comes to how you speak? Has anything changed there? And I know this one's a vague one, but also what have you learned when it comes to literally learning? Like, have you picked up any new trades, any new skills? Because the 3rd house is about learning. And I think of Gemini energy because traditionally Gemini rules the 3rd house. So I think of things with your hands potentially, especially since, what was I going to say? Especially, where was I going with that? Oh, possibly with work. Maybe you guys are now in a job, which also I think is another thing for you guys, transforming how you guys speak at work and your power at work. But also you guys may, for some of you, have a job that is more like hands-on, I want to say. Or it could be more of a mercurial job. Wait, did I say that right? Mercurial? Anyway, like a Mercury type of job where I think of salespeople. I think of having to speak a certain way in order to get people to be on the same page. Literally, Mercury rules sales reps, like the guy who's trying to sell you the car. That is Mercury energy. Especially when you guys have Gemini in the 8th house. It's like you understand people on a psychological level because Mercury rules Gemini. And it would be more in a way that you're able to talk to almost anybody. And of course, it depends on your personal placements, so that may not be fully 100% for all of you, but there's something going on why you guys are considered to be intuitive, and it's because you have Mercury in your 8th house, which is the psychic house to begin with. So it's like you guys are able to excuse me, either step into your power internally, like you feel more like a leader or more like a boss, or maybe just you're in the right direction now. And I also want to say, for some of you, this is definitely talking about, hold on one second. Yeah, I guess that could be a thing too. For some of you, like myself, I got into occult-like topics, esoteric, spirituality. I always, was... I don't want to say a religious person because it's not like I was going on Sundays, but it's like I was always thinking about it. I'm always thinking about going to church, and then I don't. But I do have this relationship, I feel like, with a belief system. And I think you guys would be feeling this more so while Jupiter's currently transiting in your 8th house, as well as feeling extra confident with wherever you're at when it comes to business, work, and how you guys speak. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. So since Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio is your 1st house, this is the body, the self, who I am. I feel like there's just something about you guys at least feeling, if you're not literally a leader or a boss or a supervisor, something with a little more authority. I feel like you guys feel internally that you are on some type of level. But yeah, that's what I got for you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Where's Saturn? Saturn currently is in your 5th house in retrograde in Pisces. And the reason I'm looking there is because Saturn traditionally, Saturn rules Capricorn. So I do feel like the two would be interconnected at this current time when when Pluto going retrograde in your 3rd house is, quote unquote, finishing the job. So this would have to do with being a leader, but in a way where it feels passionate to you, where you guys are having fun, or making a dream a reality when it comes to the workplace. You guys may be artistic. I know Scorpios are, you know, known for being artistic, but I feel like a lot of people also don't know that about you guys. So there could be something about you guys communicating on the internet about your artistic endeavors. This could be something you guys want to make a reality because Leo rules your 10th house, and Leo is a creative energy. And also being seen. There is an energy where you guys may have difficulty being seen at the workplace, but you're meant to. So I think that's also an energy that could be going on here while Pluto goes back into the 3rd house in Capricorn. Do you guys feel okay with being seen? Okay, let's move on. Excuse me. And wait, I just saw it right now. So yeah, since Mercury rules Gemini and it is in your 10th house, there's definitely a connection here for you guys when Pluto makes its quote unquote, you know, last round with you guys, because Mercury's in your 10th house. So your thoughts, your communication pattern will be about yourself at the workplace and how you shine. Do you shine? Especially since the sun is the ruler of Leo, it's in your 11th house, which speaks of the internet. And since you guys have it in Virgo, this speaks of work. So yeah, I think there's something happening here. You guys are either social networking or just trying to make something happen when it comes to how you're seen. Okay. September 2nd, new moon in Virgo. And definitely check the dates. I could be off by a day or two. So new moon in Virgo in your 11th house. What do I think this is about? What do I think will happen? So new moons are always something where something new is happening, right? But it's either a mindset, especially since it's in Virgo, it could be more mental, or it's something new that's happening in your life. There could be a shift in some type of way, whether it's energetically or meeting new people, getting a new job. So I think, yeah, for some of you, this will be talking about a new job or a new idea when it comes to work, or you're meeting somebody new that could potentially connect you to the right people when it comes to work. The reason I keep going back to work is because Virgo traditionally rules the 6th house, which talks about work. Since you guys have it in your 11th house, this could be, again, talking about something regarding the internet, the computer at work. You guys could be social networking. You guys could just be meeting the right people at this time. I think since the sun is also here, you guys are standing out in some type of way. Wherever the sun is, you're shining, regardless if you want to or not. You're gonna be seen, just like the sun, right? The sun, we see it, we feel good. So since you guys have it in Virgo, I think you guys will be shining at work in some type of way. You'll be standing out for sure. If people aren't talking about you in a positive way, then I'm just thinking you guys are feeling positive about yourself, whatever it is you're doing there. What else? The new moon, what else do I think this could be about? No, I want to leave it there. Okay, that same day, September 2nd, Mars in Gemini in your 8th house is squaring Neptune in retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house. So when Mars and Neptune are talking to each other in a positive way, I love it because you're feeling motivated to take action. There's no procrastination. There's no getting in your head. You know, should I do this? Should I not? Even if you do have that, it's like it's not enough to the point where you won't do whatever it is you're going to do. You're feeling brave because you're following your intuition. You're following spirit. How does that really like feel? It just feels, you just feel motivated, like you should or need to do this right now. But you guys have it squaring. So there is friction, there's a block, there's a holdup. More time is required. So it'll either be internal, where you feel like you cannot act on something, or it will literally be external, like you had plans and something out of nowhere disrupted you. It's happening in your 8th and 5th. Honestly, I get hold on one second. Neptune rules Pisces, and it's in retrograde, so you guys would be more intuitive during this time. There is a block, though, so you may not feel that intuition during this transit. Mars rules Aries in your 6th house, everyday regimen, your schedule, your routine, work itself. And then Mars is the original ruler of you guys, Scorpio, the 1st house, the body. Oh, to be honest, so for some of you, I'm just telling you what this could have been. So for definitely some of you, this is talking about work, like having enough confidence and gusto to act on something when it comes to the workplace. Why? Because Mars rules Aries, and you guys have Aries in your 6th house. Again, you guys are supposed to stand out. You guys are supposed to be a leader or a boss. I'm sure on some type of level that resonates with you, but it may make you feel uncomfortable to be in the spotlight. But something is getting blocked when it comes to your intuition or some type of dream that you have when it comes to work. Like, and for some of you, this will be about like making something you want to make, like a creative career, or just, it could be your daydream, honestly, where you guys are just being seen or standing out at work. And it's like there's an internal conflict on that day. Is there anything else I want to say to that? No, because Jupiter's the original ruler of Pisces, and this is in your 8th house as well. So Mars squaring Neptune. Yeah, I'm just going to say it's like, and honestly, it could just be in your head. It could be paranoia because of how the transit is placed. You got Mars in your internal world. So there's like an internal conflict. This is why you guys also, sometimes, not all of you, but you guys feel like you're bad people. And it's like, you're not. But you have this because 8th house rules you guys, right? So Mars is your original ruler. It still stands true to this day. You guys have Mars and Pluto, technically. So since Mars is technically in your 8th house right now, 8th house is your internal world, Mars can be talking about inner conflict. So it's just like you're literally having illusions based on yourself. That's another way of looking at this. There's some type of internal conflict where you guys are being mean as hell to yourselves because it's in Gemini. Mars in Gemini can be mean with its voice and its throat chakra and speaking. So I'm going to say internally, you guys can be making stuff up about yourselves. And whatever this is, it connects either to romance, either you're not good enough, or it could be the opposite, like you're too good. Or this could be talking about artistic endeavors, or for those of you who are trying to have a child right now, you just may create some type of illusion that isn't real. And you may physically hold yourself back from doing something. Excuse me. Okay. September 4th, Mars enters Cancer. So Mars is leaving your 8th house and it's entering your 9th house. So the first thing I feel like how this may affect you guys, disruptions at home, even though you guys have Cancer in the 9th house, disruptions with traveling, arguments while traveling, arguments about religion or a belief system for sure, disruptions, interruptions with the female. So either the mother you guys could potentially be fighting with, literally you could be fighting with your mother about a belief system. You could be fighting with, if not women, then men that are deeply emotional or just super sensitive. And it would relate back to, like I just said before, if not traveling, if not a belief system, then it could be about, for those of you that are trying to go back to school or get a higher education, there could be some type of disruption here. Literally, this could even play out where it's like you're just fighting with the woman that work at the school, you know, about paperwork. Like, oh, you never submitted this, you know, paper that we need in order for you to start school. What else? I just see conflicts when it comes to, okay, so not just conflicts, but also for some of you who have fears with traveling, like this would be conquering your fears. Definitely. See, the thing is, when Mars is in Cancer, it gives a crybaby energy. Like that would be the negative aspect to it. So I think since Mars can also be about bravery and being confident and taking action, because you think of Mars as the green light, it's the go. You guys may actually like travel somewhere that you feel emotionally connected to during this time. And, you know, maybe that's a lot for some of you who have fears around traveling. Or if it's not fears, it's just you would be literally traveling during this time to places that feel like home. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You guys could be traveling for work since Mars rules Aries and Aries is in your 6th house of work. You guys could be adding spirituality to your everyday routine. You guys could literally be taking action on this based off of how you're feeling. Anything else? Yeah, no, I think it definitely could be a physical routine for you guys based off of your emotions, because Mars also rules you guys, Scorpio. And you guys currently have the asteroid Pallas Athena there. So this is talking about a strategy. This is talking about how do I get there? How do I get this? Blah, 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 blah. And it's connected to Mercury, I would say, because your strategy is based off your thoughts, is it not? Like whatever thoughts you're having, you then have a strategy connected to that. So for some of you, it's definitely talking about work, because Mercury's in your 10th house. And if it's not about work, then it's just how you appear. And how you appear matters, right? Because it's in Leo. Leo cares. Okay. So September 6th, Mercury and Leo in your 10th house is squaring Uranus in retrograde and Taurus in your 7th house. I think when these two are squaring again, which is a conflict, it's a holdup. It's since we have Mercury here, it's like something you would communicate or something somebody else would communicate would not be understood clearly. There would be some type of potential argument, either with somebody you do business with, an argument about how you appear, about how you speak, or it could be connected to your romantic relationship. When Mercury's squaring Uranus, I also think of like intuition, not being able to like hit your head. I know that sounds stupid the way I'm saying it, but with Uranus, I think of like lightning being able to hit you, but your mind, and it's like that lightning would really be symbolic of the divine or source, universe, whatever you believe in, hitting you guys with an intuitive message. And it's like you guys may get that, but you may filter the message through your ego. That's also how I see it. So again, what is Uranus in retrograde asking you guys to do? For those disruptive moments or things you didn't expect that happen, don't be so reactive and try to go within. And that's the difficulty with Uranus in retrograde. You're being asked to go within during really possibly difficult moments, because you're not fully getting the message. You're not fully understanding something. Think of it like this too. If Uranus rules Aquarius, and I'm always saying, oh, this is like the higher octave of Mercury. This is a very, very smart energy. It's quote unquote your genius. It's like while it's in retrograde, you have to go within, because number one, I feel like that would be just the genius in general, is to go within instead of being so reactive or responsive. But for those of you where this is going to be affecting you, where you really need to reflect to know like the right things to say or do, that's because it's like Uranus is having difficulty hitting your mind, giving you those downloads. What else? Let's see. I think also for some of you, this is going to be a delay in travel for sure. Could be connected with work or just, maybe traveling to your significant other, traveling somewhere where there's like a group of friends, something like this I can also see happening for you guys. September 7th, Sun in Virgo in your 11th house is in opposition to Saturn in retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house. So I look at the Sun, yes, it could be the father, but I'm going to look at it as the child right now. And Saturn, I'm going to look at as the father, all right? The reason for this is usually the two are at odds, right? Like the child and the father. And obviously everybody has a different story as to how they were raised, so apply common sense here. But usually, usually we're going too fast. Like we just want to do something because it's what we want to do. I'm sorry, not usually. Sometimes this is how we feel. Sorry, I was thinking about me for a second there. So that's me. In general, that's not advised, right? Most people like to just stop and think before they do something. And that's what's happening here. You're being asked to come up with some type of plan when it comes to something you're seeing that needs to be fixed. How can you fix this in the right way without rushing it? How can you fix this and go about it the right way? So I think oppositions work best when they work together, which means there's a compromise, okay? So the Sun in Virgo sees all the flaws. It sees everything that needs work. And the whole purpose to that is to make something better or to help somebody out. And it does have the best intentions. It just doesn't come off that great because it's Virgo. It's not Pisces. Virgo is straight to the point. I know they say this thing where it's like, if you want your feelings hurt, ask for the truth from an Aries. And it's true. But also, Virgo is the same way. Virgo feels uncomfortable giving you the... Virgo does not feel comfortable with saying something like this, like, okay, well, I'm sure you'll figure it out. Like, it'll say that to people it's not close to because that's socially appropriate. I feel like that's how Virgo would act. I think Virgo is a class act, generally speaking. But behind closed doors, if Virgo cares about you, it wants you to do better. And it sees the work that you need to do in order to do that. But people like being told, number one, most people don't like being told the truth. And the second thing is people like being spoken to in a softer way, which would be Pisces, which is why anyone with strong Pisces placements can get used and abused because they make people feel good. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening here. Saturn being in retrograde, number one, is asking you to think about what do you need to do better, and also letting you know it's not going to happen now. You got to wait till Saturn goes direct because there is a time on this, whatever this topic is. And it's happening in your 11th and your 5th house. So I think for some of you, you're going to have to compromise on trying to either be perfect or have something 100% right, or give up on letting every single thing be a problem. You're going to have to just accept, and you can't be so nitpicky. It's like in order to manifest, because I think of Saturn being in Pisces as a manifesting energy. You're literally making something happen in the material realm. Okay, but it's happening first in Pisces through your imagination. So it's like you got to give something up and kind of just go with the flow here. And it's going to be in the topic of romance for some of you, for children, creative endeavors, and also being public. Like, what are you on stage for? What are you being seen for? For some of you, this is going to be talking about creativity. Again, like some of you want to be seen at work for like artistic things or whatever like opens up your heart chakra, whatever makes you feel passionate. I see that here as well. And the reason for this is the sun originally rules that 5th house, and that belongs to Leo. And right now you have Mercury transiting in your 10th house in Leo. So it's like your thoughts are definitely on 5th house matters for sure, and connecting this to how you appear. Okay, that's going to be for some of you, how you appear just in general, in life, on the internet, in front of your family, in front of your friends, in front of your loved ones. And then another way this is going to manifest is, what are you doing for a living? Are you satisfied? Do you feel prideful here? Like, do you have, do you have pride in, like, with whatever it is you guys are doing? And I don't think you're going to be 100% happy with whatever it is you got to give up on. Sorry. So, what else? September 8th, Pallas Athena leaves your 1st house in Scorpio and is entering your 2nd house. Again, a lot of you, this is talking about your career. Pallas Athena, again, this asteroid talks about I think. It's talking about a strategy. It's the asteroid that will get you there. So, for example, this is happening in your 2nd house. This is money. This is what it is you guys value, what it is you guys own. And it's in Sagittarius. So I want to see the connection here. What rules Sagittarius? It's Jupiter, and it's in your 8th house. When I think of Jupiter in the 8th house, I think of a very confident person. I think because... by the way, it's because it's in Gemini. So I think of, yes, a lot of thoughts, a lot of scattered thoughts, unfortunately. But I just think of somebody with a big ass head who just thinks like their ideas are the best ideas. And the things they say is very smart. And there's something here about you guys valuing your ideas, valuing your thoughts, but also valuing, I want to say, whatever it is you're feeling internally. So, since Sagittarius in the 2nd house speaks of making money in a freedom-oriented way, again, I do think this is talking about having the knowledge to understand what it is you want. And now that you know what it is you want, like the energy, how can you get that? How can you get how can you make money in a more, for some of you, it may be spiritual, a spiritual way with Jupiter. For some of you, this may be talking about teaching, but I think also this is mainly talking about how can you guys like value yourselves and your knowledge and your confidence in order to act on something. This is sorry, I can't speak. Does that make sense? So when I think of Pallas Athena, this is talking about a strategy. It's talking about how can you get there, and it's happening in your money house, but it's also talking about what it is you value in life in general. So I think there is something happening with your confidence that you guys are trying, that is connected to a strategy of yours. So if it's to get a raise, do you guys, you know, are you guys able to actually speak up and talk to your boss about this? For those of you that just want to start a business, do you have enough confidence to just do it? Or do you care what other people think, Leo? And you know, I almost want to take that back in a sense, because Leos don't care, but they do care. They do care, but they don't. So there's something going on here where you guys may be so critical about how you guys do something. Or you may be so critical about the job that you guys have now. That could be something as well. That you guys want to... There's some type of inner turmoil when Mars is in Cancer, okay? And there's something you guys want to act on during this time, but do you guys feel brave enough? That's almost what I want to say to you guys. I think it's going to depend on your emotions and your feelings, but in order to get this, let's say it's a career or selling artwork, something like that, or just doing something that's different and you would be seen for it. It's like, in order to do this, you guys need to be confident to take action. That's what I'm seeing here. And I feel like that's what I've been seeing with you guys. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Later that day, Mercury leaves Leo and it's entering Virgo in your 11th house. So I think you guys will be feeling this energy in a way where it's like you guys will be social networking. I would be so surprised if you guys are not trying to social network, put yourselves out there, or talk again to the right people. But it's just like a different effect. When it was in your 10th house, I would say this is, I want to say thoughts about yourself as to how you guys shine at the workplace, or maybe it was affecting you guys with your group of friends. But I feel like your thoughts were about yourself and how you can be seen for something it is you want to do. Now it's taking on a similar role, but it would be making the right connections with the right people for work. And if it's not for work, then, you know, it could be something so small like looking up cleaning people, people to clean your house, because you're looking on the internet and Virgo talks about cleaning, and it's like you're calling up different people for quotes. Like, I kid you not, this is how these transits can play out. So it could be something as small as that. For those of you that are not social networking, trying to make something happen, then I would say this is talking about your friends, traveling with friends, definitely talking to people that you worked with at one time, or you're talking to more people at work on the internet. That's what I get from that as well. But again, if it's nothing like, if you're not seeing it unfold regarding work, then I think you guys would be more critical of your friends during this time. You would be more critical about the things they're posting on the internet. I'm trying to think. You guys would be... My suggestion to you guys would be not to be so critical. Because that's what we're all going to be feeling once Mercury enters Virgo, is a little more critical. So, and I do think this could be talking about you guys as well, like you guys being more critical about yourselves, because Mercury rules Gemini and you guys have Jupiter in the 8th house. So it's like whatever Jupiter touches, it expands upon. So if you have one bad thought about yourself, it's going to jump to another bad thought, another bad thought, another bad thought. I actually feel really bad for you guys that are not used to Jupiter in the 8th house. I have this natally, so I'm used to that. But for you guys may be getting migraines or just too many thoughts and you don't know what to do with them. I would say create a list from priority, main priority, and then go down. Let's see. September 11th, Mercury in Virgo is sextiling Mars in Cancer in your 9th house. So since it's a sextile, which basically talks about an energy that you have to put work into, but if you put work into it, you're probably going to get what it is you wanted. It just may not be exactly the way you thought it would be. So it's, in a sense, it's a blessing. I know trines are blessings as well, but so is the sextile, because hey, if you do a little bit of work, you're probably going to get what it is you want. So that's what I'm seeing here with Mercury and Mars. And this is what I was saying before. I feel like with Mars being in your 9th house in Cancer, this would be talking about taking an initiative with something. So when Mercury is sextiling Mars, that's exactly what this energy is. It is literally like you're thinking of doing something and you then act on it. Like literally you then act on it because they're talking to each other in a nice, positive way. So I think you guys, when Mercury is sextiling Mars in your 11th and your 9th house, I think you guys may literally talk to friends about going somewhere, and then you may just do it. Whether it's like a trip that's 2 hours away, because it's a 9th house. That's why I say that. I do consider, honestly, it could be like an hour and a half away, like the 9th house. It's not just far distance traveling. It is an hour and a half, I would say, away from your home. So Mercury sextile Mars also gives you the initiative, like feeling confident enough to discuss your emotions for sure. And I'm saying emotions because Mars is in Cancer. You would feel like, so for example, I also think of this as disagreements when it comes to a belief system, when it comes to not agreeing on the right place to travel, when it comes to, you know, going back to school and getting a higher education. It's like you would be able to have this open, critical conversation that maybe makes you a little sad or, you know, sensitive, whatever, but you would be more open to talking about it during this time. Okay. I think for some of you, this would be being open about your emotions, about yourself, what you feel critical about, because Chiron is in Aries and it's in retrograde. This is your wound in the 6th house. So you guys are having some type of issue with your confidence in general. And this is either affecting your daily routine or it's affecting you guys at the workplace. Or your physical health as well. Definitely. How do you guys take care of yourself? Your mental well-being, but also your physical body. And also I think of, excuse me, the house of healing. So I think you guys would definitely be more open to talking about these things during this time, especially because Virgo traditionally rules that 6th house. And Mercury is the original ruler Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. So yeah, and because Mercury also rules Gemini and it's in your 8th house, I do think these are things you may feel more private about that now you can open up about. And I think this would be happening with friends for sure, or people who feel like friends. And I say that because these could be people at work. Let's see, what else? September 12th, Sun in Virgo in your 11th house is squaring Jupiter in Gemini in your 8th house. So, 2 ways this could unfold. So since whatever Jupiter touches, it expands upon, I don't think a square has enough power to hold a Jupiter back, like a Jupiter energy. I think whatever Jupiter wants to do, it's going to do. So I think what I'm trying to say is it may be feeling really happy and lucky and confident, all this stuff, and it may be overdoing it with the square to the sun. It's either going to be that, or you guys may just feel potentially depressed on that day, sad on that day. It's either going to have the reverse effect. That's just my personal opinion. The reason I say that is because the sun is a happy-go-lucky energy. It's a happy energy because it traditionally rules Leo and the 5th house. This is when children are being themselves, their authentic selves, and they don't give a damn if you like them or not, or they're going to do what they want. They draw things, they get it out, they get that energy out, right? But a square causes tension, it causes friction. So it's like, even if you weren't doing anything on this day, you would feel this internally. And it would it's like, again, because Jupiter is currently in Gemini, it would expand one thought into another, and it's all a lack in feeling good. That's how I want to say this. And I feel like it would be about you guys. It could be about your friends. It could be something like that. But yeah, so again, it's either like you guys are going to overdo like this confident energy. Like, since the sun is in Virgo, honestly, it could be just like too much information. Not too much information, I'm sorry. Like, information that you're speaking about that maybe is critical of other people, and you're just like, you don't care. With the sun, again, it's like where you can be seen and what you're being seen for, but also what are you seeing? And you're seeing people's flaws more so during this time, and it's either gonna pertain to work or your group of friends. So yeah, I just see Jupiter either expanding upon this, because Jupiter also likes to teach. And when it's in Gemini, it likes to speak about what it knows, and it tries to help other people out. So you guys may think you're doing a good thing with your group of friends or somebody at work by shining a light on an area that needs to be fixed, and you may just overdo it. Or you just may be feeling really extra confident that day at work, or with your group of friends. Okay, what else? What else? September 14th, Venus in Libra in your 12th house is trining Jupiter in Gemini in your 8th house. So a trine, like I said before, it is a blessing. It's an energy that is either being given to you, or it's something that comes so natural to you that you don't even notice it. So since Venus and Jupiter are talking to each other, I'm just laughing because it's Jupiter, whatever it touches, it expands upon. So it's going to be talking to Venus. And it's like these house placements kind of got me thinking. So it's like this will either manifest with you guys and somebody else, but I feel like this keeps coming through for you guys too. It's either you guys or another zodiac sign, where it's like there is a secret, because Venus is in your 12th house. Anytime Venus is in the 12th house, it's like you either have a secret crush, or somebody has a secret crush on you, or you're keeping like a relationship with another person secret. There's just something that's hidden when Venus is there. And especially because it's in Libra, Libra speaks about relationships. It's either like you guys are keeping maybe a business, financial relationship hidden and not public, or I'm trying to think. I do think this could be spending money as well. Like money is kind of just leaving right now, like leaving your wallet. And this is also could be affecting the Pallas Athena in your 2nd house, which speaks of your money, your wallet. Especially with Uranus going retrograde in Taurus, which traditionally belongs to your wallet. For some of you, this is going to manifest with knowledge, information internally on what you need to do when it comes to your resources or your money, excuse me, that you share with other people through partnerships or your romantic relationship. Okay, that's one way. Then another way I feel like this is going to manifest is literally either sex for some of you. I feel like it's definitely like a sexual magnetic type of energy as well, because the 8th house, literally, this is sex. And then when Jupiter's in there, this is like, you know, good times. So, and it's talking to Venus nonetheless, which can talk about love and relationships. So I think you guys are either talking to somebody, and if so, I feel like this would be somebody that you're talking to either on the internet or somebody that's like a friend. Okay, with Jupiter and Gemini, there is an energy of teaching people and talking to people like they're a friend. And because it's in the 8th house, I just see this as being sexual. I just do. Okay. What else? I think also pleasant thoughts. That can also be another way this just manifests. If none of that goes on for you guys, this would just be a feel-good energy. You just feel good. Nothing's bothering you right now. Okay. September 17th, there is a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces in your 5th house. So, with full moons in general, I feel like they illuminate something. They don't illuminate the full thing. I think they partially illuminate. That's just my personal opinion. So, and the reason for that is when you look up at the moon, is it the moon? No, you're seeing the reflection of the sun's light, right? So, I don't know. I just think there's something connected there. I think something will be illuminated for some of you when it comes to romance. I think something will be illuminated for some of you when it comes to the dream, an artistic endeavor you guys want to make into a career, or for some of you, this is going to be talking about standing out in the workplace. How can you guys be seen? Do you guys want to be seen? Does it mean to you the same thing it once did? Because the lunar eclipse talks about changes. So I do believe there's more power to these eclipses, to full moons, where there is like an eclipse happening. That's what I meant to say. So Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. It's in your 5th house. Jupiter is the original ruler. Yeah, I think for a lot of you, this is going to be an internal change because Jupiter is in your 8th house internally. I think something you thought about before when it comes to 5th house things will be changing, because you'll be able to see something, or you'll be able to let something go. There will be some type of change, whether it's energetically or externally happening for you guys. September 18th, Mercury in Virgo in your 11th house is in opposition to Saturn in retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house. So when Mercury and Saturn are talking to each other in general, like in not the best way, I think of having difficulty with being on time. I think of difficulty with understanding things right away. I think of difficulty with pretty much that, understanding things and also being on time. I do. So it's in opposition. And like I said before, oppositions work well when they come together. So there is a compromise here. And again, I think it's going to be something critical. Like you will see something you believe needs to change. And let's say it's 5 things that need to change. And Saturn's like, the best I could do is 2. Are you going to take it or not? I think of this, it's so funny, this is coming to me right now, and I've definitely channeled it before in the past, The Notebook, when he's like, what do you want? What do you want? Tell me, tell me. And she's like, I don't know, it's not that simple. Like, that's this, for sure. But it would be happening with 11th and 5th house matters. So you may be either extra critical with people that you guys are dating during this time, and it's like, maybe they have 3 out of the 5 things that you look for in a partner. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? And it's not that you're settling, it's that you're compromising, because maybe the other 2 things were not that important. Or maybe they're just 2 things that you actually don't care about, but you're being nitpicky. Because again, we have the Sun and Mercury in Virgo. It's natural to be nitpicky here. But at the end of the day, Pisces energy asks you to see the bigger picture, just like Sagittarius in a sense, because life is too short. We all have problems. None of us can be perfect. And how do you feel about this person? So I think those are things to consider with this transit, because when Mercury is opposing Saturn, your thoughts are asking you to get real, like a reality check for sure. Like, is this really physically possible, or is this obtainable? It's like, okay, I think it was a few days ago, I was looking at this beautiful house. It wasn't a mansion, but you know, it was definitely the price range of a mansion. And I thought, oh my God, that is like, I would love that. I would love that, but right off the beach, not a block away, but on the beach. And then I like really had this reality check of a moment. I was like, whoa, I don't think I'll ever get that. Like, and I think as an Aries, like we think we can do whatever the fuck we want to do and achieve in the world. And it's like, that's how you kill an Aries, honestly, is by that type of thought process where I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is ever going to happen for me. But then I looked next to the house and I saw this small little home, and I was like, honestly, that's perfect. Like, I'm good with that. And that to me is like compromising. Like, does the first dream or idea that I want to manifest really makes sense for me? Like, is it doable? Am I really going to make, I don't know, let's just say it's 5 million. It's not. But am I going to make that within 5 years? Fuck no. I mean, God, that hurt me just saying that. Aries like to think that anything's possible. You never know. So, but that's the truth. So, it's more obtainable, barely, to get the smaller home. So it's like there was a reality check there. It's going back to an old idea I always have. And Saturn going in retrograde, I do think this would be an old idea. In fact, I think because Saturn rules Capricorn and it's in your 3rd house, and now you got Pluto back there, I do think this could have something to do with communicating things that are practical and logical, because we have Mercury involved here. Mercury talks about your thoughts and your communication style. And the 3rd house also speaks about what you're learning. So learning to be more practical with an idea you guys have that you believe is somewhat flawed. And it's not that it's not flawed, but it's like, okay, well, we can't have it all, right? All right, so let's move on. September 19th, Sun in Virgo in the 11th house is trining Uranus in retrograde in Taurus in your 7th house. So I like this energy because, like I said before, with the sun, you're able to see something. And despite the fact it's in Virgo, it's trining Uranus in your 7th house in retrograde. There's some type of, there's something you're able to see more clearly. So for example, the house example I just gave you, that to me would be a sun trining Uranus retrograde moment. There was no reaction to a dead dream. There was more of introspection, like literally going within and being calm and seeing things clearly, seeing something that is practical and can potentially happen for me one day. How can it happen for me? What do I see for myself when it comes to my career? Because small homes in New York are expensive too. So I felt like I was able to see that clearly and understand it. And it didn't feel too sad for me, but you got to remember the sun is still in Virgo. So it's not going to be perfect. It's just not. The secret here is if you look at a Virgo, you look at their life, and I think they're the first to admit this. It's do as I say, not as I do. Because usually, because they're on the Pisces axis line, there's something going on internally with them as well. I mean, everyone does, but it's just funny because they're good at seeing everybody else's flaws. And Virgos, they already see their flaws. They already know what their problem is. They don't need you telling them. Trust me. But it can never be perfect, and that's the problem. So it's like you're not going to be fully happy here. Okay. What else? September 20th, Sun in Virgo in your 11th house is in opposition to Neptune in retrograde and Pisces in your 5th house. So the Sun is opposing Neptune. Again, kind of similar energy. I think, again, oppositions work best when they work together. They got to give up a little something in order to get what it is they want. But they gotta, something isn't coming with them. So I think you guys will be able to see through your own bullshit. That's how I like to call it, with this type of energy, because you guys are trying to make something happen with 5th house matters. So let's say it's, you wanting to be seen at work, but you're not willing to do a damn thing. Well, this transit could help you see that, because you literally would have to, you would be like there is this inner friction, I feel like, with oppositions where you know what it is you need to do, but are you going to do it? And so, yeah, I think you guys can be seeing through the sun. I think you can be seeing through the clouds, Neptune. I think you could see through the fog when it comes to maybe you were being too daydreamy. Same thing applies for romance. Were you being realistic enough when you expected this person to understand your emotions? And it's like, what are they, a mind reader? If you're not speaking, then how is somebody supposed to know that? This is also that type of energy. I think it's a good energy for Neptune. There can be some transits that indicate illusion and delusion, but that isn't this. This is like, you can definitely see through something. And in fact, I think it actually could be seeing through people, seeing through someone as well. If you guys are romantically involved with someone, or you guys are, like if there are any issues with something you guys are trying to make happen where you stand out in some type of way, like let's say it's an artistic endeavor for a career, it's like you would be able to see that maybe you can't do it full time, but you could do it part time. That's also how this energy, I feel like, would could potentially manifest. But I think at the end of the day, excuse me, hold on. Wait, what transit was that? That was Sun in Virgo. No, never mind. Okay, September 21st, Sun in Virgo in your 11th house is trining Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn in your 3rd house. So I like positive aspects to Pluto, clearly. Because we're not talking about manipulation. We're not talking about battle of the egos, or, you know, trying to control someone, or power dynamic trips. Like, I don't see that happening here. When the Sun and Pluto are talking to each other in a positive way, this is talking about literally a change, like a blessing. And do you know how hard it is to change? It's so hard, right? But when Pluto and the Sun are talking to each other, it's like you're being given an opportunity here. Are you going to take it? So I feel like you are going to notice something that does need to change, or and it doesn't mean a big change. It could be a slight change. It could just be a compromise. And you're going to see this with that Sun opposition Neptune, like I just said. And then the following day, or around this time frame, you'll be able to easily make the change. What will it be connected to? So the Sun is in your 11th house, and then you have Pluto in your 3rd. So I think either communicating on the internet for some of you, I think presenting some type of idea you have that you want to be seen for. It's like, so for those of you who are having issues with your confidence and putting something out there, I think this is how it could potentially manifest, is through your local community, on the internet. That's something you guys could potentially be doing. You could be, I don't know, taking a picture of your artwork and then uploading it. Maybe something like that is going on too, where it's just like you guys are internally having difficulty sharing a part of yourselves. I see that happening too. What else? The Sun trining Pluto. What else could this be about? Seeing something that wasn't working for you when it comes to your communication or the way you learn, and then being able to change that. That's how I see it as well. And then the last thing I want to say is, I think another way this can manifest for you guys is your body. Like, for some of you, taking better care of your body. The reason I'm saying that is because Pluto rules your 1st house in Scorpio. And with the Sun, I just think of somebody being visual. I think of the 5th house, and I think of Leo. And when I look at Leo, you guys have this in your 10th house. So it's like you're meant to be seen in a way where you stand out, whether it's for looking good or for taking pride in yourself. And when I look at your 5th house, it's in Pisces. I think of somebody that's artistic, or somebody that is deeply sensitive when it comes to romance. So I think, but also somebody who wants to be seen for being artistic or different. And somehow this may connect back to your physical appearance, because it's like you're transforming a mindset. Something is shifting energetically for you guys. Okay, September 22nd, Sun enters Libra. So the Sun is leaving your 11th house in Virgo, and it's entering your 12th house in Libra. When the Sun goes in your 12th house, I think this is, again, it's like a very spiritual energy. It is loner energy. It is, I don't like it in general because it's talking about like the sun is supposed to be seen and shine. And anytime it's in somebody's 12th house, it's like they don't want to shine, or they just don't feel well enough to shine. I feel like maybe they're not good enough, or like their confidence leaves them. Something is leaving when it comes to something being positive. And that's why I don't like it. I also think another way this could manifest for you guys is an emphasis on relationships, for sure. Because when the sun is in the 12th house, you're able to see something that maybe you normally have difficulty seeing. So I think of this as a very psychic placement as well. Especially with the South Node, Venus and Juno being here in your 12th house, I just think something's hidden right now for you guys when it comes to romance. And if it's not romance, then I think it's just, you know, contracts of some sort where money could come in, or money is coming in. Or it could be, for some of you, keeping, like, yeah, it could be artwork, private, something artistic, because Libra is beautiful energy. It is like aesthetically pleasing is what I'm trying to say. And Venus can be looked at as artwork. But Juno is soulmate energy. This is the energy that would work best for you during this time, for your soul. So it's either like a relationship with yourself right now, going within and trying to love yourself, trying to clear out like past experiences that have left you down. I think that's another way this could play out as well. But ultimately the goal here when the sun is transiting through your 12th house is to get you guys to feel like you deserve to be seen in this 10th house, whether it's at work or just in general. And it's like you would be seen for something creative or something you guys feel passionate about. Later that day, Venus in Libra in your 12th house is squaring Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn. So I don't like that because, like I said before, when there are hard transits talking to your planet, Pluto, then it becomes like a control game. It becomes potentially manipulative or just power dynamics. There's a power struggle. So it either has to do with literally money, in relationships, or money going out one way or another. And it's affecting you guys when it comes to your power and how you feel about yourselves, but also how you're communicating. So this could potentially be some type of argument you have with men or people at work. People of authority is what I want to say too. And, you know, it's like you may have difficulty seeing something. You may have difficulty seeing harmony. You may have difficulty going 50-50 on this day or around this time frame. It's like you don't want to, or you don't feel like you should. Because later that day, Venus then enters Scorpio, your first house. So when Venus is in Scorpio, this is a very passionate energy. This is an energy that feels very deeply. It's an energy that wants to be merged with the other person. So because it's like when Venus in Libra squares Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, Venus in Libra must be at 29 degrees, which is a very karmic degree. 29 degrees I look at as Leo energy, a royal energy, and I also look to the 5th house because I do think there's always a story being told there with the 29 degrees. So, for some of you, it's just you guys are going to have difficulty. I'm going back to the Venus squaring Pluto. When it comes to making something happen in the way that you wanted it to, either in romance or artistic endeavors, or making money through something where you're seen for, whatever that is. Yeah. And then when Venus enters your first house, you guys are going to be a magnet. This is how I look at it anyway. You guys could potentially be changing something aesthetically about yourself. It could be your hair color. It could be a haircut. It could be your outfits. You may buy new clothes at this time. It's so funny because I'm just thinking about it now. I wonder if you guys would be buying darker clothes because I think of the Scorpio colors. And it is fall time at this time. And I feel like we're all, as a collective, usually buying darker clothes. So I almost wonder if that would play out for you guys because it's in your first house, the body. What else do I think of? Loving yourselves. I think you guys will definitely love yourselves during this time. Venus enters Scorpio. Where's Pluto? Your third house. I think you guys may also want to speak maybe about yourselves at that time, to be honest with you. I know it's not Mercury entering your first house, but it's Venus. But I can see that too. I think also if you guys are being private about somebody else, this would be a time where you may decide to go public. Yeah, I could definitely see that as well because Pluto rules Scorpio, right? And it's currently in a house where you're seen as a certain type of way. But you have Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, in your fifth house, which talks about romance or artistic endeavors. And now Venus is going in a very public house. So I think you guys will either be public with artistic things, or if you're having a child, you would be, you know, talking about that. But whatever this is, it's going to change like your status quo. Sorry for the background noise. It should be my tagline. Sorry for the background noise. September 26th, Mercury enters Libra. So Mercury's leaving your 11th house and it's entering your 12th house. Yeah, I think you guys will definitely be having conversations with somebody you guys are romantically linked with in private. I think you'll be having private conversations on the internet. I think, especially because Pluto is in the third house of communication. And Pluto's a ruler of Scorpio. And when we see what's going on with Scorpio, you guys have Venus there. Venus talks about either money or the things you own, the things you value, or the contracts, the legal contracts you're a part of, some type of serious commitment or a committed relationship. And when I look at the two houses that rule Venus for you guys, it's your 12th house and your 7th house. So the 7th house, you guys already have Uranus going retrograde. There's some type of change happening when it comes to romance for you guys. You guys are either looking at something differently or you're doing something differently. And it would all stem from your feelings because Aquarius, Uranus rules Aquarius and it's in your 4th house. 4th house is private, right? But you got Mars in Cancer in your 9th house. So there's some type of drive that you guys are feeling based off of your emotions and your feelings that you guys have in private. That's what I think. Just my personal opinion. Okay, so what else? So Mercury, when Mercury enters Libra, I think you guys will just, your mind will be on relationships. I think it'll also be on serious commitments that you guys have. So if you have serious commitments with people where you exchange money in order to get goods, I think this would be in private. Starting a business would be in private. Mercury rules Virgo and it rules Gemini, and that's in your 11th and your 8th house. Again, 8th house is a private house. So, yep, no, I'm going to keep to that. Private conversations, not being public. You guys also may be having like these conversations with yourself, trying to help yourself gain more confidence. I see that as well because the 12th house, I think of introspection. I think of going within. And since you have Mercury here, you're either deciding to open up to people that you're close to about certain things, or you're not, and you're keeping it to yourself. And there would be some type of energy about a relationship with yourself, I feel like. September 29th, Mars in Cancer in your 9th house will be trining Saturn in retrograde in Pisces in your 5th house. So Mars and Saturn are getting along. And they're both in water signs nonetheless. And a trine is a blessing. It's easy energy. I think based off of your emotions, you'll be able to take action when it comes to either artistic endeavors, for those of you that are trying to make this a work thing, or you'll be able to make an initiative with something work related that you feel passionate about, or you'll be able to take action that day when it comes to work related things. And whatever this is, you may have to drive a little bit out. You may not be so close to wherever it is for whatever it is you need to do. I also think of this as getting more serious about romance. That's how I see this as well, especially with Saturn being in the 5th house. Or it's like you're taking artistic things more seriously. Wherever Saturn is, it's like it's a serious energy. So it's like trying to... it's like you can't just keep things a dream. You got to act on it. That's what I'm picking up on here. And when Mars is trining Saturn, I think you'll take some type of action towards this. With whatever's in your head, you will make a physical reality, or at least try to. And I think for some of you, it will be relationships. And for some of you, it will definitely be about work. Okay, so September 30th, Sun in Libra in your 12th house is conjunct Mercury in Libra. So when the Sun and Mercury are talking to each other, this is like, if you were feeling sad or something shitty happened, this type of transit will make you not necessarily feel good, but you will force yourself to think about the positive. You will force yourself to get happy again. Because the Sun, again, is a happy energy. It's a happy-go-lucky energy. It's also your energy, like in general, your vitality. And it's talking to your mind and your thoughts and your communication system. So it's trying to make literally your thoughts more positive. The things you say would be more positive. So since it's happening in Libra in general, I do see this as like you guys being able to be more fair to yourselves as well as others you will have some type of commitment to. The reason I say yourself, I keep going back to that, it's because it's happening in your 12th house. 12th house can be like a mental prison. It could just be you escaping in some type of way, whether it's just like being a loner and hiding out, I want to say. So if you have like this talkative energy in that type of house, then I think you're just like talking to yourself, or you're talking to people you feel most comfortable with and having these intimate conversations. And I do feel like these conversations would be about a romantic relationship or somebody you guys like or somebody you guys want to do business with. I do see that. Somebody you want to quote unquote merge with. The Sun. But there's something here again that since the Sun rules your 10th house in Leo, it's like you're having these thoughts or you're talking about the fact how this will affect how you appear, how you are seen. Or by making a certain choice, like let's say it's business, how will this affect you? How will you be seen if you do this? That's what I'm getting. So yeah, let's go over it once more. Make sure I touched upon everything. So Scorpio in your first house, Pallas Athena. In the beginning of the month, this is where Pallas Athena will be, which talks about a strategy. And you're thinking about, honestly, yourself. The reason I say that is because Mercury will be in Leo during this time. And I think of somebody who thinks of the things they've done that they want to discuss and talk about and share with people, to be liked, to be loved. So I do think there's something out there that you guys want to communicate, especially more so because Pluto is in your third house of communication, and it's in Capricorn. So it's like you want to make something happen that is practical, something that makes sense and will last. Okay, whatever that is, I don't know, but that's what's going on here. Then Venus will later on go into your first house in Scorpio. I think you guys will feel this in a way where you're going to want to do something to your appearance. If you don't do it, you'll definitely be thinking about it. I would put money on that. You would be thinking about trying a new makeup product, or cutting your hair, or, you know, buying a new outfit. It's something that would have to do with your physical body that you want to make look good. I do think, since Scorpio is a magnetic energy, like a sexually magnetic energy, I do think this means you guys would be more attractive to the opposite sex during this time. That's what I think. I do think you guys would be attracting people who are extremely sensitive or deeply emotional. I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying that's how I'm seeing it. Second house is going to be empty, but then Pallas Athena transits here. So your strategy will then be on, how do you make money in a way where you feel best? How do you make money where you are either a boss, an entrepreneur, or you're just making money, or maybe you're not attached to money. Maybe how can you detach? That could be another way of looking at it too, for sure. During this time, I think Mercury will be in Virgo, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it's going to be talking about the things that need to be fixed in order to make money this way, or the things that need to be fixed within you in order to not be so attached to money, so you can be more freedom oriented. Because there's something here with that second house. And I do think this is something karmic for you guys, because Scorpios are deeply attached to money in some type of way. So yeah, it's like that's the karma. Like, you guys are supposed to free yourselves of that type of attachment. So I do think for some of you, it's going to be talking about how to gain more money at work, who you should be social networking with. Yeah. Third house, you got Pluto going back here in retrograde. There's something not done yet on a spiritual level, on a soul level. What have you not accomplished that you want to accomplish, that maybe has been in the back of your mind since 2008? Could have been going on and off randomly throughout your mind, but it was there nonetheless. I'm going to say for some of you, it's coming into power, like being a speaker of some sort. Maybe you guys are a confident speaker now. Maybe you guys are literally leading at work, in the workplace, and this requires you to speak. I also think of a practical motivational speaker, to be honest with you, with Pluto being in Capricorn, because it's like, it's not so traditional, but yet at the same time, it's something that's applicable. So because Pluto changes things, it literally kills something off in order for something to, you know, happen or be born again, however you want to phrase it. I do think that's like an old mindset that was maybe more traditional for you guys has shifted since 2008. And it's like you're almost there with like making this shift as to who you are now as a person, rather than trying to make it that. So yeah, I do think, because Pluto rules the first house for you guys, Scorpio, this is definitely talking about you guys as a leader when it comes to speaking. It's got to be something like that. You must be doing something where it's like you must have gained like some type of gusto when it comes to your confidence in speaking, or being more open about your feelings, something like that. Because first house traditionally belongs to Aries. So you got to think of it like that too. Aries are leaders, they're bosses, and they're going to say what they want, whether you like it or not. And yeah, I just feel like there's some type of energy like that connecting here. You also have Ceres, the asteroid, which talks about like how you guys can heal, how you guys can do, how you guys can feel good. Like how can you guys nurture yourselves? How can you guys take care of yourselves? So during the month of September, I would say it's through practical things in Capricorn. So if you need a new routine, you better fucking stick to that routine, because it's actually going to make you feel better. If it's communicating in a more I don't know, practical way while still coming into your power, then that would be that. Again, it's going to take on Capricorn energy. This is what would nurture you guys at this time. Fourth house is in Aquarius. Pluto's leaving there. So nothing's going on there. I do believe it would be connected to your seventh house of relationships, because Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, is in your seventh house. So it's going to affect your home life. Whether it's a disruption, a positive one, or a negative one, it's affecting you at home, your relationships. It could be romantic relationships, could be people you are committed to with business in some type of way, or you owe them something serious, money, property, I don't know. Fifth house, Pisces, you guys have Saturn and Neptune both in retrograde. What are you guys trying to manifest during this time when it comes to being seen? Or for some of you, this is going to be about having children. Some of you, this is going to be talking about, do you take your creative endeavors, your passion seriously? Are you doing something about it? So for some of you, this is going to be talking about making it a job, like making money off of this and making it work for you, because somehow this connects back to a dream you guys have. Because again, Pisces energy, Neptune energy, this is dream-like, but it doesn't mean it's not realistic. The full moon lunar eclipse in your fifth house, something's going to be illuminated when it comes to fifth house topics. Something will be illuminated. Something's going to change based off of how you're feeling now or what you see now. And it connects either to romance or something like something creative, or having children. Sixth house, Aries, North Node, Chiron, retrograde. You guys are trying to come into your power. You guys are trying to be a boss. You guys are trying to lead. You're also trying to overcome lack in confidence. So for those of you who have difficulty with this, this is what you're trying to overcome. And it may be connected to inner child wounds, if I'm being honest with you. It may be connected to... where did I get that from? Hold on one second. Where did that just come to me? Inner wounds, the child, Aries. Yeah, that's where it came. Sorry. So yeah, I do think your emotions will be heightened during this time once Mars enters Cancer in that ninth house. It's going to have to do with some type of belief system you had while being raised and how it connects to relationships. The reason I'm bringing that in, because Uranus rules your fourth house. So this is connecting back to your roots, your home life, how you were raised. And there's something here during the month of September that's going to make you feel very emotional, very attached to some type of belief system. That's what I personally believe. But you may see how it's hurting you during this time. Or maybe for some of you, this could be hurting whatever mindset, mentality you have for work, or what you believe you deserve at work, or what you believe you deserve in relationships. I think this is going to shift during this time. There could be something that's too selfish, I think of as well, too self-oriented and not enough Libra when I look at the North Node and Chiron retrograde in your sixth house, your daily routine, your work life. Every day from the second you wake up till you go to sleep, it's in Aries, which is Mars, which is the self. It's literally you. So yeah, I connect that back to Mars and Cancer for your ninth house. What is your belief system? And how does it connect to your emotions when it comes to your everyday living? Uranus in retrograde in your seventh house in Taurus, there is a disruption with relationships or serious committed relationships. And instead of reacting, you are asked to go within. Whatever these things are, it's affecting you in private, in your home life. It also may be affecting your wallet, your finances, and things that you value about relationships and money are changing at this time. Gemini in your 8th house, you will have Mars there and Jupiter. Mars will then transit on to the 9th house in Cancer. But while it's in the 8th house, it's like mental conflict. That's how I want to phrase it. It's mental conflict. You may be your own worst enemy during this time. You may be arguing with friends. Friends may be arguing with you. Friends may be pulling one over on you, to be honest with you. I feel like also Mars and Jupiter in the 8th house is an extremely confident energy. I do see that. They're both fire planets. So, and it's in your mind because it's Gemini energy. So I think you're eager to understand something about yourself and others when it comes to psychological things. I think there's a lot of learning going on. That's what I think as well when it comes to random things. I think you guys probably could have a bunch of tabs up on your Safari, on your phone during this transit, more so. Mars then enters the 9th house in Cancer. I see this as being driven to either learn or driven to go travel, driven to go back to school, driven to learn about the things that you believe are bigger than yourself. I see this as being in conflict with your emotions or how you were raised. I see this also being like argumentative energy when it comes to topics that include the higher mind, with men that are emotional or super sensitive. Same applies for women. I think you guys could potentially be arguing with the mother. I think you guys could maybe even be arguing with the mom while traveling, or female friends, or like I said, men. Leo in your 10th house when Mercury's there, your mind will be on yourself and how you shine, how you stand out, what it is you want to do. You could be traveling for work as well, and I feel like you would be seen. You go back to the 11th house and Virgo, we got Mercury, we have the Sun and Vesta here. So because the Sun rules Leo, I do think you would be shining in front of other people at work. I think you'd be standing out in some type of way. Especially when Mercury enters the 11th house, I think you would definitely be talking, yapping, or people want to yap and talk to you. And I think it would be about work-related things. I think it would more than likely be happening at work. And if it's not, then you're just having conversations with your friends, people on the internet about things that need to be fixed, redone. Vesta is here. This talks about your passion, the flame that just won't die. I think this is something you guys feel passionate about when it comes to something you see, like where you're critical about either about your friends or yourself, that needs to change. And you're determined to work on this and do this during this time. And I think the new moon will be talking about this. It'll either be a new job or a new energy, a new mentality. Something will be changing possibly with your daily routine, your everyday habits. You could also be meeting somebody new when it comes to social networking. Libra in the 12th house, you'll have the South Node, Venus, and Juno here, and the Sun, and then Mercury transits later on. I think you guys may be going inward during this time. I think you would be having these, if not spiritual enlightenment type of moments, it's like you would just be seeing something about how you are in relationships or how other people are to you in relationships. Reason I'm bringing up relationships again is because it's Libra energy. This traditionally belongs to the 7th house, but it's in your 12th. So it's like you may feel like a prisoner about this topic in your mind. You may also be conversating with people you have some type of intimate relationship with. I see this as potentially secretive as well, or somebody from the past, or you guys focusing on your past relationships. So yeah, I hope this helps. Definitely let me know if any of these things end up manifesting. I would love to know. And yeah, thanks guys. Bye.